What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another exciting episode of Talk Inside the Ring. And if you all are ready, I know I certainly am, let's have the ref ring that bell, because I have another special episode for you all. Now, everyone on this channel, including myself, loves wrestling. That's why this show is called Talk Inside the Ring. But another thing we love, other than, fantasy booking matches for ourselves, is wrestling video games. Shoot, I've heard everybody and their mother say that this one is their favorite. SmackDown vs. Raw, here comes the pain. And no, I will not accept any amount of money to get this game. I waited a long time, and now I have it. But we all love professional wrestling games, and what made it so fun back in the day was finally seeing the trailer on YouTube or hearing news about it, what the new game was going to be called, when it was coming out, what superstars we were going to be able to play as, what match types we were going to be able to do, what the story was going to be. We all looked forward to this every single year, what the graphics were going to look like, entrances before the game actually came out. We loved wrestling games, and we all had that one specific thing, or even a few specific things that we wanted in these wrestling games that we never got. Well, in this video, I'm going to be going down a list of things that I wanted in a wrestling game that I was hoping for every single year, but that we never got. And if you like this sort of thing, if you like wrestling games or wrestling in general, don't forget to drop by my channel and say hi. Now, if you all are ready, let's go into the list of things I wanted in wrestling games that we never got in Talk Inside the Ring. Alright, so the first thing in this video is that of the stretcher match. Yes, the stretcher matches has always something that has struck my fancy, even though I love ladder matches. But I had always thought the stretcher match was a very interesting concept. You throw your opponent on a stretcher, and whoever can pull them across the finish line first wins the match. And the only one I had ever seen, or that I really remember seeing, is that of Randy Orton versus RVD at One Night Stand 2007. But anyways, I always wanted to have a stretcher match in the next wrestling game, and I always remember looking up online and seeing what matches were we going to get in the newest wrestling game, and a couple of those lists had a stretcher match, and I was like, oh, we're finally getting a stretcher match, and we never got it. And I remember some wrestling games were very famous for bringing some new matches to the table. Like SmackDown vs. Raw 2009 gave us the Inferno match. SmackDown vs. Raw 2006 gave us back the Buried Alive match. SmackDown vs. Raw 2007 gave us Money in the Bank. Almost every single wrestling game always gave us something new, and I had waited for the day we were going to get a stretcher match, and we just never got it. I really feel like this match would have been very easy to pull off, especially in the older wrestling games, maybe even after SmackDown Here Comes the Pain, maybe in the original SmackDown vs. Raw or something. But we never got it. And I always thought it would be basically a table match mixed with a race. You put your opponent against the stretcher, and you can do power moves on it, and the stretcher will either never break, or if it does break, it'll just appear on the side of the ring how it always done. And I always thought that would be very easy to do. You throw your opponent up against the stretcher, you do the motion where you put them on the stretcher, maybe do a finisher on them or whatever, and then you push the stretcher up, and whoever pushes across the finish line wins. And the fact that we never got it, even in the later games like WWE 2K13 or 14, or even now, we don't even get those matches, but I don't think they really do those matches anymore. But yeah, I was always disappointed that we never got a stretcher match, especially after I seen that match with Randy Orton and RVD. I thought it would have been a great addition to any wrestling game. Let me know what you all think about that, having a stretcher match in a wrestling game. Alright, now the second thing on this list that we somewhat got but really didn't, or at least not to my full extent, was creating an arena, and not just designing the arena how you want it, but customizing the ring, and not just the ring ropes and the apron. No, I mean the mat itself, the ring itself, being able to change what type of wrestling ring we were going to be able to wrestle in. When I first seen the trailer for WWE 12, and they were promoting create your own arena, and I was a very big TNA fan at the time, Impact Wrestling, and I loved the fact that they had a six-sided ring. I loved that they had that ring. And I was like, finally, I'm going to be able to have a wrestling game where I can wrestle just not inside a four-sided ring, but maybe in a six-sided ring. Heck, go two more sides, an eight-sided ring, or shoot, dial it back a bit and maybe do a three-sided ring, or I have no idea how it worked. Maybe create a circle ring or something. I don't know. But I had always thought that that's what we were going to get. And I remember when I first popped in WWE 12, and I seen that that was not an option. I was very disappointed. But now we are getting that option with Ultra Pro Wrestling whenever that comes out, and you can wrestle in a 4-sided ring, 6-sided ring. You can even fight in an octagon. So we are getting that nowadays, but I had honestly just wished that when they had started doing that option that we could have created an arena more to a higher degree. And even when the TNA game came out, or whenever there was talks of a sequel coming out, I had always thought it would have been a cool idea to give us the option of a 4 or 6-sided ring. You know, like when you choose your wrestler in a pay-per-view, you know, you get to choose what arena that you want. Do you want a 4-sided ring, or do you want to go back to the 6 sides? I had just always wanted that as an option. The fact that we never got it disappointed me. Alright, so the third and final thing on this list is that of being able to customize your own matches. Now, SmackDown vs. Raw 2011 did have this feature, but I think all it was you could have like maybe like a one-on-one match inside of the Elimination Chamber, or even like have weapons in there. But my idea for this was actually take matches and combine them. And this also came from Total Nonstop Action Impact Wrestling. I remember seeing a match with Jeff Hardy and Raven at their Lockdown pay-per-view in 2005 or 6, I can't remember. But they had a caged table match, and I had just thought, oh my, imagine having a caged ladder match, like a caged table match, or I don't know how it would fit with physics work, a caged Inferno match, or a cage match, basically War Games, like, you know, with the ceiling, Hell in a Cell, but, you know, just with weapons like everywhere and stuff like that. A hardcore cage match. I just really wish that we had been able to customize matches, you know, the way how we should be able to, but maybe my imagination's just way out there. But I mean, we do have War Games now in WWE 2K23, so who knows, maybe the technology is getting a little bit better. But those are the things that I always wanted in wrestling games that we never got. Guys, I really want to know, what was things in wrestling games that you had always hoped for but we never got, from title belts to superstars to match types? I really want to know. Guys, don't forget to elbow drop that like button and spear the subscribe button for the 1, 2, 3. And I'll see you all next time at Talk Inside the Ring. Have a good day, guys, and I'll see you then.